Tough Mudder training.
Take two.
Take two. Slick Rick's house.
Water training.
Water training.
Woo! Hoo-ah!
Mudder!
Cross training, floating shoes.
Water's 50 degrees. Hoorah! Tough Mudder! Yeah! Who loves you, baby?
Jesse the body.
After like the second or third time that the most horrible thing that could ever happen to you happens to you, it gets to be a little mundane. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these obstacles were like that. I mean,
Yeah.
they were, you know?
I mean,
Not that they were terrible. I mean, we got through them. But, like, I mean, the reality of it is that, you know, when your brain hurts because your skull is frozen because you're in 4 feet of ice.
And that's just one obstacle. I mean, there's other obstacles that I remember going through, like the electric eel, like the one where I was getting shocked running through water. Like, who makes this stuff up? Like, they literally have live wires in water, and they make you crawl through it.
I know. Yeah, we
That's
were
gotta
on
be
our bellies.
illegal.
Big giant like field of electrical
Yeah.
wires hanging down. You had to slither along the
And
mud.
we're getting shocked. You're getting shocked. You have
No
to.
wonder they made us sign a death death waiver.
I
Like,
mean,
you know.
Come on. There's so many more. That
I mean, it was crazy. And then the funniest part of all is like, so we go through some of these obstacles, and the kiss of mud is first. Like, you know, you run for a half mile, you're super pumped, your adrenaline's pumping. You know, you get to this thing, kiss of mud. You go under this barbed wire where you can literally peek up like 2 inches to get your eyes above the mud, and you're like, okay, it only seems like there's 100 yards.
And you
of
can't
mud.
bail because
No,
there's barbed
you're
wire.
under
You're
it,
gonna go
right?
through
You're
it.
gonna get all cut up. You know, you do that first, and you're like, I guess it's real. You hit the blades of glory.
Yeah.
The Firewalker was.
We were actually on the
Wow.
well, I'll say TV, but we
Yeah.
were Slick
The
Rick and I was
promotional
actually
video.
on the promotional video jumping over the Firewalker.
Yeah,
So,
that's what happened. Like, you know, you get like, I don't know what is it. It's so funny because like when you realize that you're on an official Tough Mudder video, you're like, oh, we're at a minute and like
Yeah, I know.
37, a minute and 40.
Minute
or whatever.
37
It's
for like
yeah.
3 seconds. We're
Yeah,
on it,
yeah,
and then they
yeah,
go to
you
the
know,
next
yeah.
person.
And everybody in the group like gets the video via link and like goes and watches to see who all's in there. You know, Tough Mudder is a ethereal existential experience, and you'll never remember or care to remember all of the experience that you go through. However, you will always remember every detail of everything. It's a strange dichotomy that like grips you that way. However, like, you know, going from the jumping in the dumpster with the ice all through like another half dozen or a dozen obstacles. And the next thing you know, you're coming to the end of the thing. You're so exhausted the whole way, you don't even know what's going to happen.
Right. There's times whenever I'll say to myself, I can't do that. And I'll go, wait, I did Tough Mudder. I can do that. I can do anything. I can do anything. But one particular event stands out in my mind because I played through this so many times before we walked through this or ran through this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, when I get to walk the plank, and this walk the plank is probably a 2-meter dive. I want to say 20 to 25 feet in the air.
It's 30 feet. Yeah.
30 feet in the air. So it's a 30 feet. Wow, I didn't realize it was that high. So I had this
Elks
whole
Club was
act.
only 12.
Yeah. So I had this whole act prepared once I got to the top of the plank, and it was 3 meters high. And I remember going back as a kid with like you and Jimbo jumping off the high dive at Elks. I was going to play Cowboys and Indians. Mm-hmm. Like me and Jimbo used to jump off the high dive, go running and like pulling bows and arrows and like shooting people.
Yeah.
I was going to go ahead and do that, and I was going to jump as high as I could, get air, and then I was going to pull arrows, shoot people, and like just play Cowboys and Indians like kids.
Right.
So I climb up there, which takes about 5 minutes.
It's insane, right? It's a sheer face of 2x4s with like an occasional 2x4 like screwed into it. So you have to like literally make 4 to 6 foot steps. Yeah.
So it takes you 5 minutes to get up there.
Absolutely.
But it only takes you 2 seconds to jump down.
Exactly.
So I get to the top. I'm like, holy crap. Mm-hmm. Holy crap. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I don't know who was behind me. They're like, let's go. Let's move it. Come on. We got people coming behind you.
Yeah.
And then I just stiffened up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I wanted to run and jump and go higher off of a 30-foot dive.
Right.
I'm like, no, I can't. So I just kind of walked slowly towards the end and like just dropped. So my whole act went out the window. I could not do any of my stuff I planned to because it was so dang high. I'm like, I'm done. This is too high. It's too dangerous. Crazy. Too dangerous.
I remember seeing my wife and my daughter at the sort of on the corner of that, and I've thought it like my pre sort of race plan was I was going to do a backflip or a gainer or something off that. I was going to be one of the cool dudes and like do something cool.
The scuba diver would have came.
By the time I got there, like I realized there was no hope. Like I had nothing in my legs left, nothing. I was just a wet noodle. I ran off of the plank and just like tried not to fall flat on my face, and that was it. Like,
we were worried how deep it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, it was like 10 or 12 feet deep or something.
Yeah. Well, you said they had guys with scuba
They
gear.
had scuba guys. Yeah, they had scuba divers.
They did have like life-saving vehicles there and stuff just in case.
Well, an urban legend of our race was that somebody did die in that.
Yeah, so there have been deaths there.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what. So
that's why this has such meaning.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I know you have a lot to say about the next one.
Mount Everest.
The half pipe. I know it bothers you to this day.
To this day. So I did every single obstacle. The only obstacle I didn't do other than that was the warrior carrier. The warrior carry, which was like, you carry your buddy for a half mile or something like that. And my back was not in any kind of shape to pick up like a 200-pound dude and like carry him away. So the only, and we knew that going in. So
Mount Everest.
These guys, so there's like 3 or 4 in our group ahead of me, okay?
Yeah.
Dan's dudes and you and like H Wood and Jimbo, like, and all those guys and Dave and like, so I make my first attempt. And I go, and I'm like, you're so exhausted, and your legs are.
And they mud down the water. They mud it down with water, so you can't get any.
Well, not only do they do that, they also pour vegetable oil down the ramp, so like you can't get up it. Yeah. Like the ramp.
We bought special shoes for this.
I know we did. Yeah, we got the Solomon cross tracks. Like, I know, yeah, and they were awesome. Yeah. I mean, I remember running downhill like past hundreds of people, like just being like, I got my shoes.
Jim was like, you got cleats on. Like whenever I was walking up a hill, like chunks would come out underneath my shoes.
Dan had like some New Balance flat bottom shoes, and he was like surfing, like Silver Surfer down these hills. And you and I are just like, we're running, like it's no problem. Yeah. But every time I tried the half wall, the last 2 or 3 steps before I got in there, I was literally above my ankles in mud. And so like I could try to get some speed up and like try to like go up the ramp, but like every time it happened, I was stuck. Like I lost everything like before I hit it. And so I would like be like
each time I tried,
it got lower and lower. Yeah. And Dave said that the first time that he heard when I went, like he had his back like to the ramp, and he heard this tremendous like thud, yeah. And he turned around and he just said he saw me like Elmer Fudd like sliding down, face planting and sliding down like the wall. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I would have made the wall. I wish.
Yeah,
that's the only obstacle I didn't make the whole course. And like I tried 3 times, and I think it got worse every time I tried.
My strat on doing this was to watch you guys and see what you did.
Yeah.
To look for the driest path to the ramp. And then I took a knee prior to that. So I took a knee for about 15 minutes just watching you guys do it. Right. So I rested because I knew I had one shot.
Yeah. You did great.
At one shot.
Yeah, you knocked it out, man. You got up there.
I studied it.
Yeah.
I saw where the driest path was. And I hit it.
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember is I'm like, I got to cut wind so I can go faster. And I don't mean cut wind like that.
Yeah, no,
I did a salute to my oldest son, Sean.
Yeah.
And when he runs, he always runs like this. Because he's like, I can go faster by cutting wind like that.
Right, yeah.
So Sean, I saluted you. I ran like that, and I got so much momentum. And I hit the half pipe.
Up the
wall. And the momentum of that dry land that I hit went up the wall high enough to reach the other guys hanging over to grab my arms and legs and pulled me up to the top. Because I knew I had one chance, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I finally made it. And I'm like, just give me 3/4 of the way up. Because the other guys will just grab and reach you. And I mean, that's what it is. It's all camaraderie. Total strangers is helping you. It's camaraderie that we don't see nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah, I ended up like a couple inches shorter of where you were. And I think my first try was my best.
Yeah.
Because like I had like
You
somewhat
was
of a grip. I
flying,
was just
though.
like,
You might have been going too fast.
I think I was.
Yeah.
Because you get into this thing and it just goes like
Then you
this.
start sliding.
And then like, you hit in and then but you carry the momentum and it carries you straight into the wall instead of like taking your time and going up the wall.
Yeah, I know.
And
I was
think that was
disappointed to
better.
see that. I was disappointed to see that. I mean, we
and I
have footage.
tried 3 times.
Yeah.
I failed. And that's like my biggest like regret about the mutter.
Yeah.
That I didn't make it. Although I'm so happy like with everything else.
Yeah,
and
I know.
it doesn't distract or detract from like anything else. It just like I'm happy with everything that happened. It just like
but it's just like
but it's just one of those things like
I could have just
one
done that.
obstacle beat me. Like I lost the one obstacle.
We have
like,
footage of that too, of
Yeah.
us trying it, and we watch it, and I'm like, I'm so
And
glad
every time you see like I'm coming up to the half pipe and then my ankle, like I literally my foot goes like up to halfway up my leg, like into the mud, and I'm just like, like it practically fall, and then I'm just like trying to like do it. I have no momentum.
I think
like,
the same thing happened to Jimbo. Jimbo
Yeah,
had
yeah.
those real thin sneakers on with no traction, and he just kept slipping and slipping, and I don't think he made it up. I don't think he made it up.
Honestly, I was so focused on myself.
I know.
I'm like, oh man, I can't even believe it. And then that was it.
I know. And then the next thing that was waiting for us was the electric shock therapy, the last thing to do.
Which provided the greatest footage.
I was scared to death of this.
The greatest humorous footage.
I was scared to death of this.
Like this was the funniest thing. Jimbo stayed at the back and took footage of all of us.
Yeah.
Like going through it, and none of us went through it well.
No. Well, so there's a bunch of mud.
H-Wood like got through it.
H-Wood just walked through it.
I know. I don't know if it was all the masks that he put on.
I think he's on. I think he was roaring too. So H-Wood's walking through and he's getting electrocuted like bzz, 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 and he's just like bouncing off of it. Like when
but you did good through it.
Yeah, but it hit me, but it knocked me over. It sent me for a
only knocked you over once.
yeah. So
all I can say is
there's hay
only
bales
once
in
for
there,
you.
so it's not just mud. There's hay bales.
There's mud and hay bales, and the wires hanging above the hay bales are the ones that are active.
So some strap people were trying to go in between those live wires, which was what 30,000 volts. So
I don't know how many it was. All I know is there was a dude with like.
And he's like,
there's a guy with like a 30-foot like aluminum pole that would be like
making
touching
sure
wires. Like he was like, anytime anybody would come in, he would reach in there with that pole and like connect the
it's
the electricity to make sure like you fell on your butt. Yeah.
Jimbo said he saw sparks flying off his head. He got hit in the head because Jimbo wore that GoPro. He's like, I saw sparks.
The best footage that I think Jimbo took was us going through there ahead of him. Because me, you, and Jimbo ended up at the end.
Yeah.
You went ahead of me. And you were like, okay, and you went down, but then you got up and you went through, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. And I went through, and the first hay bale in my way, I tried to like jump over it, right? Boom! And then nothing, and I was just like every single fiber of my body was like contracted, and it was like I was just in the air, and I was just like, I'm not moving, and nothing is moving, and that was it. And that was it. And so I went down into the mud, and then the funniest thing of all.
You got halfway to go.
The best was Jimbo said, and I saw you try to get up. And when you tried to get up, another wire hit you in the back. Right, Jimbo? Yeah. And then you fell again. And I went prone, like totally down, face first into the mud, and I was just like, oh!
I've seen other YouTube videos where somebody will walk through there with their arms out.
I know, it's crazy.
And they'll just walk through and just try to get electrocuted all the way through. I don't think it's turned on when it does it.
I gotta agree with you. I think so.
I don't think
because when I went down, I had absolutely no control of my body.
I watched a lot of YouTube videos prior to this.
I had no control of my body.
Yeah.
I tried not to watch too many of that one because I was just like, I just have to get through it.
I strategized every event I could because I was scared to death.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. And that's what made it so special. We were scared to death of it. Like,
but we did it together.
And we were probably way too old to even consider doing it.
Yeah.
But we chose to accept the challenge. We bonded while we were like training for it, and we went through it together.
Yeah.
And we got through it.
So it came out at the end, finally we were done. They give you a beer at the end, and they give you, there's something else. I don't know. I think you get, oh yeah, you get the shirt. There you go.
The shirt and the headband.
The shirt and the headband, yeah.
Headband.
So I got the headband. I don't remember the shirt. It's a little foggy for me because I was.
You were just shocked. Your brain was just fried by the electroshock.
Yeah, I remember getting a beer, and she was like, "I really don't want this beer." I'm like, "Oh, I'll take it." So I'm guzzling. I guzzle 2 beers because I'm dying of thirst. The only water you get during the whole course is like this Camel water.
It ain't good.
Yeah, and it ain't good. And all it is chlorinated water, strongly chlorinated.
You can taste the chlorine.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's just it's like a 6 foot around, 3 foot high, like metal tub that's got like a hose out the bottom.
Yeah,
right?
it
and
tastes
it's just like, here's
nasty.
water. You want a banana? You want a fruit chew?
Yeah.
Like, you know. There was what 2 or 3 times during the whole race where they offered you anything, kind of thing, you know,
and we felt.
And then it was just like, you know, it was just you didn't really trust like what they were doing. You got they were like, here's a half a banana smeared in mud.
Yeah,
like, you know, you're like, oh great, thanks. I'll get like all these contaminants associated with it. Like
I remember these girls at this one, like they were I'll call them incentive girls because they want you to go through it. So they're talking to you and they're like, do you want a hug? And the guy in front of me is like, oh, I'll take a hug. I mean, she was like 20 years old. It's like, I'll take a hug. And she went like this and gave him like an actual hug. He's like, oh, is that it? And he's like, drank it and walked. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to fall for that. So they had like strategically placed hot girls there asking for hugs, and then they had
that was the halfway point.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing of all was like you get to the, what was it? The mud mile, right?
Yeah.
You go through all these things that are traumatic. You end up like you're barely hanging on at that point. You think you're like 2/3 or like 5.
Close to being done.
You're like, you think you're done, like, you know, and then the next thing you know, they're like, you're doing great. Everything's going awesome. You're halfway home. And then we look at each other. We're like,
what? That's it?
I got nothing left in the tank, man. What am I supposed to do the rest of the race? You just power through it.
You do. So you get the headband, you get the shirt. We did it, and then we were on our way to shower up for more drinks and head over to Jimbo's brother-in-law's. Brother-in-law's. Yeah.
So you end the race, they give you the beer, they give you the Gatorade and all that stuff, and then the next thing you know...
You wait for your school bus.
Yeah, you're done, and you're just like, you don't even know what to think at that point. But you go to collect your bag at bag check.
Right.
And then you go to get cleaned up. But the problem is they don't tell you anything. They're just like, yeah, here's your bag, here's your number, here's your bag, right? Me and you got our bags, and we're sitting on the side of the bag check tent.
Yeah.
And we're stuck there. And we sat down for just a minute, but I swear to God, it seemed like we sat down for about 3 hours. And at one point I realized, like, we're not moving.
We need to go.
I said, hey, Beef, we got to go. We got to get up. It's hard enough, but we got to go.
Yeah.
So we got up, we got cleaned up, like, and then we went home. I cleaned up, we went back and we ate, I don't even know what we ate, a chicken sandwich or something.
I think
we had like a chicken sandwich or whatever it was. We went home and then
we took showers.
We got cleaned up, we'll see you later. Like, you know, and then we went to the after party.
Yeah.
If you could even believe such a thing. And the after party was like a bunch of cripples.
A bunch of cripples.
There was like a bunch of crippled dudes like Alan and like Beth. And
Beth, they were gracious enough.
They were so sweet. I mean, come on. Like, you got a bunch of dudes that can barely walk coming into your basement. Like, you know, that was it. That was like the basement was open and that was it. Don't even try to go upstairs because you ain't going to make it anyway.
I know, but that was a blast. Like, the best part towards the end was we had our wives there supporting us.
And that was tremendous.
It was great. The lovely Kim was there.
Yeah, Melina was there.
Oh, man.
I will tell you, the next day I couldn't even walk halfway, like a half a block. Like, I tried to walk down the bottom of the hill and come back. My knee was like, it was like stress fracture on tibial plateau. Like, I mean, it was just.
And then I started scheduling my surgery.
Me too. Well, I didn't schedule then, but I went. Nikki and I ran like the Battle Frogs, and then that's when our surgery.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a fantastic time. If you ever get a chance, you got to try it.
You got to do it. There's no better bonding experience, right? With your friends. Than going through a Tough Mudder or any of those OCR.
And if you're having a hard time with life, if you're having a hard time with your job, do this Tough Mudder. It's going to wake you up. It's going to make you appreciate life a little bit more. And then guess what? You're going to say, I can do this because I just ran a Tough Mudder. So you can do anything.
Listen, when you do that, you're going to be so tightly bonded with the people that you're going to do it with that it's going to clear the fog of all of the other things.
We
that are
recommend
bothering
your
you.
childhood friends. Still with your childhood
Absolutely,
friends.
childhood friends,
Yeah.
college friends,
Any friends.
any friends, anybody that
Neighbors,
you hang out with.
anyone, anybody that, yeah.
Anybody that's willing to sign a death waiver, like it's good. Like,
Real quick. How about that one dude who was in a suit? He ran in a suit.
You remember that guy?
Yeah, he was
That
in
guy
a
was
suit.
right around us. He's the dude
In a
ran
freaking
in.
suit
He was in,
and a
he was
tie.
in dress shoes.
Yeah.
The dude wore like patent leather dress shoes, and he was
Yeah.
like, we kept like, we would get ahead of him. He would catch up.
Did I also see somebody dressed as Superman, or was I
No, there was a
hallucinating?
no. There was a Superman.
I was-
race.
well, both. I was
There wasn't
hallucinating and I was-
I'm not going to argue that you did both, but yeah.
Yeah, I
There
thought
was
I
a
saw
Superman, a dude in a Superman costume, but the suit dude was crazy.
Yes.
He had like a navy blue pinstripe suit in like patent leather shoes.
So part of the fun is dressing up while doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
You got to get the right shoes so you can like trash people, or you can wear patent leather shoes and just slide down the whole thing and just like say, I ran a Tough Mudder in the suit because it was just my like day off from work, right?
Clark Kent.
With Clark
Right.
Kent, right?
That's it.
Absolutely. I thought that dude was Clark Kent too.
Yeah, definitely. But you
Absolutely.
definitely got to try it. These come around every year, whether they're in Pennsylvania, Ohio. You got to try.
You got to go.
No doubt. No
And there's
doubt.
more, Tough Mudder's one thing. That's what, like, you get the headband, so it's all
That's
good.
right. That's
But you
right.
get the T-shirts, you get the medals, you get all the things, and the OCR courses are good to go.
Right, Slick. So I'm going to take this home now. I appreciate you stopping by,
Beef.
coming by, talking
It's an
about
honor.
this.
It's an honor.
Appreciate
Thank
you being
for
on the
inviting
show.
me, man.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. For you folks out there, try Tough Mudder. Slick recommends it. I recommend it. Highly recommend it. I mean, it's good for the soul. It does a body good, right? And you get in shape. But anyway, that about wraps it up for Right on the Mark with your host, Mark Young, and my cousin, Slick Rick. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining.
Hey, thank you for
Always a
inviting me.
pleasure.
It's an honor. Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thank you so much. But anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, tap that bell so you don't miss any of this conversation. This is where it's at, folks.
It's all good.
That's right. Let me know what you think about this podcast / vlog / YouTube video. It's a lot of fun. That's all I could say. It's a lot of fun.
It's the best.
That's right. But anyway, bingo, baby. This will take you to the promised land. I guarantee it. See you next time, folks. Salud.
Hoorah.
Hoorah!